Welcome back, boys, to a post-beta New World Wednesday. It's a great day. We've had some good information shared, and we've had some bad information shared. Well, not bad. Some changes to what we know. Ped, thanks for joining, man. How you doing?
I was good until about like everyone else. We'll talk about that later. But yeah, other than that, all good. Survived the beta.
How you doing, Altair? You all right, mate?
Yeah, I'm good, man. I'm good.
Yeah. Okay, boys. So the plan is I have done a very bad job with Newer Wednesday this week. Let me just fix something. Boom. Okay, that's gone. Topics have changed because that was last week's. I've had a bad day. So the plan tonight, boys, the plan to talk about tonight is we want to go through and talk about some positive things, about how much we had a good time in the beta, the good things we enjoyed, some of the bad things we enjoyed, the things that we would like to see change, which, you know, now this time. And what we'll do is, once we've kind of had a bit of a chat about what we want to see in the game, we'll find out from Altair and Ped what they want to see and what they enjoyed, and then we'll talk about the news of today, which I'm sure by now lots of you guys know what's happened. So yeah, I mean we'll jump straight into a conversation. Altair, what did you really enjoy about the beta? Now it's all finished, and what would you like to see either improved or brought into the beta? Lots of question there. Sorry.
Yeah, lots of questions. First things, like what I love about the game is like everything. You can do whatever you want. Everything looks insane. The fighting is pretty good, I think, except for some meta builds that are like too overpowered in my opinion. But like I had so much fun playing the whole beta. I don't know, like anything to improve is we'll get the metas, get them sorted out a bit. Maybe some bugs, like the one we saw yesterday, I think. The speed running hack thing. Yeah, get that out of the game. But everything else, mate, like I had a fucking blast until today.
Yeah, no, I think everyone who played the beta had a really good time playing the beta, and I think there was some bugs and exploits and whatever, but we had a good time. How about you, Ped, man? What were your thoughts on the beta? You had a good time, and what do you want to see changed and brought into the game?
Yeah, I mean, I think some of us, we were approaching the beta slightly differently to people that hadn't played the beta because we got to play the preview, so we did a lot of stuff in preview. So I saw a lot of the game in preview, which meant I spent a lot of beta not seeing much of the game because I was testing other things, as you well know, which mostly involved me spending 5 days encumbered and very little else, which in itself was actually extremely frustrating. So that was good because we learned a lot about how we can potentially improve that sort of gameplay piece when it comes to the crafting. But I was focusing heavily on the crafting because there's a lot more to crafting now than there was in preview, which is great from that perspective. But definitely, I think we've talked about it previously, but the game has definitely changed in that I've come away from it going, you could really spend your whole time just solo playing this game, which I'm not sure is necessarily a good thing from an MMO perspective. You could spend your entire time just doing solo stuff and not interacting with other people and still progressing in the game and feel like you're achieving things. It doesn't lend itself massively to a lot of team stuff, short of the wars and the 50-50s and the open world PvP where you have groups. A lot of the game you can do on your own, which I'm still jury's out on that long term in terms of like long term survival for the game. But it was still cool. Got to try lots of different things. And obviously the bombshell, which we'll get onto.
I'll touch a bit more on what we did. Like the crafting side. Obviously, every time I saw you, you were unable to run. You were constantly walking. Did you guys find the way to? Okay, so us as a company, we thought the way we would do things is share everything, constantly pool resources together, and we found a lot of issues just with that. But I guess secondly is that when you have these resources, did you find a good way to deal with them? I know the housing sort of discussion came up, but obviously keeping our game plan close to our hearts. But
I was going to say, I mean, obviously now we've got to keep a game plan close to our hearts for a longer period of time. But the sort of, and I think, to put if a lot of the community are watching, to put a lot of their feedback frustrations to rest, we were using beta as pretty much a bit of a proving ground, proof of concept. So for those of us that played in preview, we were trying some totally different stuff this way round, just to see how it would unfold. And unsurprisingly, even that got crapped on because, as we saw, the town board balked quest line where you got stupid amounts of XP meant people kept resources, which broke the resource system in reality from an economy perspective. It's like when we played it in preview and Paul had beasted the the faction delivery quests up until Amazon realized they needed to nerf that because they were giving away far too much XP. So the same things happened, right? It's just a different part of the quest line that was broken. But this one actually had a significant impact on the rest of the economy because it sucked up resources. So ideally, when we get to a release, that town board scenario has been totally nerfed, and the large scale demand for resources doesn't go to people hoarding them to do quests to get XP. They actually then go into an economy, and then you can drive the economy. So that, I think, for me, that was the biggest thing from this, to see what that's actually going to look like come release. As for the storage thing, we've got an approach now off the back of what we did in beta, where I think it could work really effectively. But again, I don't think you could do it with a massive team. I think it would become too complicated. But you also can't do it and we've got a number of people now. We think it's a happy medium. But like anything, we'll get a week in and we'll see if our plan is working. If it does work, I think it will be massively effective. And we'll achieve some of the things we're planning on achieving in really quick time. But hey, with the bombshell today, who knows what it could look like when it does emerge.
No, absolutely. Blake, thanks so much for your sub there, bro. I think the one thing off the back of the crafting that I've seen, not just with our clan, but with everyone that's provided feedback on the forums and stuff, is people are hoping for the addition of some sort of company storage. And I think the feedback has pushed that towards the company storage being localized. So kind of like the auction house and things like that. If you could have some sort of shared storage with the rest of your team that was just for that particular settlement, I think that would help. Again, it can be limited, so you can't use too much and it can't abuse it with large clans or whatever. But what are your thoughts on some storage while we're talking about crafting?
We've definitely talked, like the sort of the group of us. I mean, I don't know if QT's watching, but he's a broken man from doing crafting in beta. I don't think he ever wants to craft ever again. So what I think that there's a number of permutations, right? And I was chatting with Trust about it. Actually, there's, and it would arguably be pretty shit, but look at what they did with ESO, and where's Tight with all his ESO knowledge. But they could quite easily do a quality of life item that was increased storage or something, or buy a bag with increased storage. Because storage becomes so critical if you're crafting.
Yeah.
There's plenty of sort of revenue generating models off the back of that if they wanted to pursue that, and that scares me, because I would rather it was painful and we had to do what we did in beta and actually earn storage and make space and then make encumbered potions so you can actually move when you're encumbered, and there's a whole raft of things you can do. Yes, the idea of a company storage is cool. Like there's mileage in that. Look at Eve, right? Corporation storage is really powerful to the meta of the game. Storage is huge in Eve, it drives everything. So that's something they could introduce. I don't think it would necessarily be there for release. It's absolutely something they could bring in at a later date. But that's also linked to that kind of whole guild bank approach as well. We've been talking about it, Trust and I, again, the idea, we don't give donations like to the governor, like we tested with you for beta, right? Why not just have a company tax? So whenever people are earning gold, exactly like a corporation tax in Eve, you set the company tax rate to 5%, and 5% of every piece of gold that's made by every member of the company just filters straight into that company treasury. Now that would be amazing, right? Because then there's no onus on people to go out and make money to give to you. Whenever people make money, the company gets some of it. So therefore, everyone benefits. So there's some really nice tweaks that I think they could introduce. I don't think they'll be introducing those for that first release. I think there'll be potentials for later on, if at all. So yeah, those are the kind of big things that we've discussed post beta.
Yeah, no, that feedback's awesome, man. I think I think HQ's come in with a comment here. You can make bags with increased storage capacity, and you can make chests for your house. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, Ped. I'm pretty sure you all had max bags and max chests for the house, and still felt that probably wasn't enough storage.
Yeah, so we did that test. Remember, on day one, QT and I, we bought a house each, but we didn't go big. I didn't buy the 10k house, which you can get 4 chests in, I think, from level 30. We just bought the 5k house, but we put 2 chests in it each, and that made a massive difference just in the first 24 hours, because we suddenly had about 450 additional storage in the settlement. And then, yeah, obviously, as you get the better bags, yours increases go up. I think I got bunged. Who was it? Eclectic, I think, bunged me a couple of T4 bags by about day 3. So I was running as a level 35 character with about just under 1,000 storage on me, and then I had about 1,600 storage in the settlement. So that would have been even more if I'd gone for the bigger house with 4 containers. So yeah, I think there's means and ways to solve the storage issue, but it's all dependent on the amount of resource that's coming into you.
Yeah, sure. We had quite a bit. So one comment here is around the town boards not necessarily giving XP for you as a character or growing your character, but growing your territory standing or your influence within that zone. What do you think about the town boards in their current state, Altair, and is there any changes you would like to make to them? Toughest question. Let's go.
Yeah. So the town boards, I don't know, when they started it, like I was super late to it. So I started doing town board missions day 3, I think. So I was super late to it, but I never liked doing them that much. Like it's the easy things you do. Go there, pick some iron or something, come back, kill like 10, what was it, turkeys or something.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know. It's shit. Like, come on, let me do something cool. Let the town board missions then be like, for at least if you get that amount of XP, tell them to like go kill a mini boss. Like, make sure you have a party of 5 to go kill a mini boss or something. Like, make you interact with more people. But like the town board now is better, I think, because it makes you level slower.
You want some diversity in those quests then.
Yeah, I want diversity. Yeah. Well, if it's literally about that, but if it literally says town board, so that it was like town quests for the town, why does that not like make your influence, like you said, for the town better or anything like that? Like, it doesn't have to be just for XP for you. Like, I would say in every MMO I played, like, if you need XP, if you want to level fast, you need to grind, you need to kill stuff, you need to do dungeons, you need to like at least do something, not just go to a town board and do a couple missions there.
Yeah, I mean the town boards are what they are. I know that they kind of nerfed them during the game. I think it should definitely still have some XP. I feel like everything you should do should have some XP while you're on your way to level 60, but it needs to be balanced is always the word I'll use. But yeah, I mean I quite like if you guys watched my stream, you would have seen I really struggled even killing rabbits. I'm a professional player over here, but I quite like the fact that there's some of this mundane shit that can be done while you're bored, but also there should be that option to do things like you said, pie up with someone, go and kill a boss, or go and find something in the open world that's a bit different. So that's some good ideas.
I was just going to say, because I don't know if you saw QT, he put town board quest should not provide XP, and I think by about day 3 or day 4 the two of us had a good old moan in a Discord channel about how bullshit town quest boards were, in that they gave XP, and then we spent about 2 hours righting wrongs. And I completely agree with what he said there. I think if you changed the way the town board meta worked, that the only reason you did town board quests was to upgrade the settlements, right? But you put more onus on owning a settlement, and therefore defending a settlement became way more important. I.e., like, imagine you defend a settlement, right, and you lose your settlement, and you lose everything you've got stored in that settlement and all your gold. Like, imagine there was a really legitimate reason to own a settlement, and therefore it's in your interest to defend the hell out of it, and that's by upgrading it, by upgrading stations, all these sorts of things, upgrading the defenses, that then there's real incentive to do those town board quests. So you could remove the amount of XP or reduce it significantly from a player gaining XP for leveling, but it's working towards the common good. It's working towards the company and the faction that own that settlement. That then brings you that wider, like, community cohesion, pulling it away from that, like, solo player involvement, more to the group dynamic. And I think that could be a massive winner. I know people will moan like hell about it, but it works in other big MMOs. Like, Eve is all about cooperation. Like, you can't play Eve as a solo player and enjoy it. Like, it's horrendous, and I've been playing it for 20 years. So I think there's some big opportunities here, but whether the game moves in that direction or not, who knows. But
I was just going to say, I think I remember in the preview it being, every time you did a town board, it was primarily around upgrading your settlement. And I do remember, I'm pretty good at spamming, so I remember spamming faction chat quite a bit, saying, "Boys, is a new upgrade," trying to get all the the faction members involved in doing these quests, because it then led to us holding the town. So, I don't agree with removing every XP, but instead of it being 100% what it is now, you get 10% of what you currently get or something. So you still get something for doing it, but 90% of the ownership is doing what the quest is about, and that is upgrading your town or activating your, your buffs that you get, that you've paid money for. So no, I do agree. I can see some people that don't agree, and that's, I think if you partner it up with having more benefits for owning the town, then that makes you as a company go out and do the quests and focus on those quests as a company. So I agree. And doing town quests as a solo, running around naked, killing yourself to respawn back into town, running to another town, killing yourself it didn't make doing town quests what they are there for, because they're there to upgrade your settlement and your fort. It made them there as a place to power level. And
yeah, totally.
That wasn't that isn't the idea behind the town quest. So no, I agree there. So that was your first time pretty much playing properly, Altair. You mentioned that you loved the way the game looks. Let's talk about some positives. The way the game looks and the way the game sounds. Is there anything in particular that kind of stood out for you? I know the visuals are great and the sound is great, but is there any particular moment that you're walking around thinking, "Fuck yeah, this game is beautiful, man"?
Well, I've always been using a musket since day one, so yeah, shooting a musket, it sounds insane. It sounds like a musket. I actually shoot them in real life as well, so
yeah.
I know how they sound.
It sounds silly, doesn't it, when you say it? It sounds like a musket. Of course, it fucking sounds like a musket, but like, genuinely, like, it sounds good.
Mate, so some sounds in games is like when you shoot it, it's like I don't know, like a pea gun or something. Like, it's a shit. It's just not good. This gun actually shoots nice. You can hear the reload even. Of course, throwing a spear, it just the sounds, like you hear it like fade away as well. It's just super cool. I love actually because I've done mostly skinning and mining, so both of them sound insane. On the last day, I actually still got, what was it, logging? I think I got logging up to 100 as well.
Nice.
So I've done a lot of logging as well. Sounds insane.
Yeah,
when you kill like animals, mate. Have you heard that? When you're next to a deer and you shoot it and it falls over.
Yeah.
When it hits the ground, you can hear that as well. Normally Like in normal games, you don't even hear that.
Quiver just mentioned the tree chopping echo is spot on, insane. Yeah, that's it's one thing having kind of ambient sounds and good sound design, but when you're in like a quiet forest and in the distance you hear someone either mining a fucking boulder or some iron or chopping down a tree, it's just like, whoa, this is awesome. So there's some really great things about the game. Ped, did you get a chance to try any of the expeditions, or were you fully encumbered?
So I did the Amrine expedition a couple of times, but I didn't even get around to finishing the quest line to get an Azoth staff. So I couldn't even close bloody portals, which was a nightmare because I used a lot of Azoth. So that's definitely something we learned this time round, that getting that staff is going to be critical from a crafting perspective. But to be fair, I knew I was level 51, 52 from when we did preview and saw all of the world. This time round I saw very little of the world. But yeah, like the immersion, if you spend a lot of time crafting, you also spend a lot of time gathering anyway because it's natural synergy. But yeah, I remembered very quickly, like I was level 100 logging on day one because I spent a large chunk of the spawn zone chopping trees, and I was level 50 before. I was level 55 in logging before I got to Everfall, because I remembered how amazingly addictive just listening to the trees falling down was.
That's brilliant.
So I mean, my crafting, I stopped properly testing what I was testing, I think by Friday, so midday Friday, and I was like 120 to 150 in all my gathering skills, all of them. So nice. Yeah, the immersion is not fishing. I was level 10 in fishing.
Same. I was level 0 fishing.
But like, just that whole sound, the aesthetic, it does, it looks exquisite, right? Yeah. It does look exquisite. And you find yourself getting sucked into doing things. It's like, oh, another shiny thing, I'll go and gather that. And then it's like, oh, another shiny thing, I'll go and gather that. Oh shit, there's something over, which is why I spent most of my life encumbered. But those strong encumbered potions are pretty good. It gives you like an 80 weight boost or whatever it was. So I'd always get encumbered while I was crafting and then pop the potion and run back to the settlement and then do some crafting to make space. So yeah.
That's cool. I was the same. You guys know I was doing a lot of PvP and I was constantly getting my ass kicked by the boys. Like, damn, why the fuck are you only level 30? I think I got 32 max. It's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm just chilling. I got to a point and I was just chilling. And I actually really enjoyed fighting out leveled and seeing kind of like how well I could fight. When people got 60 and I was level 30, I was, it was very, very hard. But very much the same. I got Amrine excavation done and the Starstone Barrows done. I got lasered quite a lot, but those two dungeons were amazing. And the difficulty wasn't hard, and I think that's one thing that they need to improve on is how hard it is. Or maybe if you play it, maybe I don't know. Then there needs to be a way for it to be harder. How many did you get to play, Altair, dungeon wise, expedition wise?
One.
Did you do one as well? I know some of the boys in the clan did all of them and they played through every single one, and I think as a content creator I should have done that, but I was like, nah, I'm just gonna chill, man, and just, I don't know, we went group fishing and stuff instead. And that was our content. So yeah, I actually didn't see much of the world. I feel like I definitely should have done, but I was waiting for 31st of August, which now I'm sad. So let's move on to the next part. So we'll try to keep our Newer Wednesdays boys to around an hour. I've seen lots of comments coming in already. Let's switch scenes here, boys. Here we go. So if you guys were not aware, welcome to the stream. I bring you some terrible news. Long story short, I won't run through all of this. I'll go through the main part. So we're going to take a few extra weeks to smash bugs, improve stability, which we all absolutely agree on, and polish the game. New global launch date is September 28th, 2021. Altair, I know you're gutted. You're as gutted as me. Ped, I think you kind of expected this, right? You thought this was coming?
Yeah, like, do you not remember March Christ, what are we, March 2020, when we were like, yeah, it's going to drop in April, and then it was like, oh no, the beta's not happening, it's getting pushed back. Oh, we're going to do a preview in August. So we were like, okay, we'll suck that up, we'll wait. And then we did preview, and preview was ace fun. And then we were like, based on all the feedback and everything we've learned, yada yada yada, we're gonna move to an alpha in Q1 2021. And we were like, what the fuck? Just let the game release. We can still play it for 6 months. It was so much fun.
Yeah.
And then we've waited all that time, and now we're like 18 months on, and we've done a preview. We've effectively just done another preview, and it was awesome. But I would say this beta had more issues in it than preview did last year. Yes, they've thrown a load more stuff into the game, but from a refined, polished product for release, like I think like I said, I stopped on Friday and I was like, they're going to delay this. They're going to delay it for different reasons to last year. There's more content now. There's a lot more complexity with crafting and so on. But we know, the server infrastructure needs a serious kick up the arse. I don't think they necessarily got the calculations right around open world PvP, the amount of AoE spamming, the compute resource required to keep that all up and running, because how many times do we crash our server?
Yeah.
So it'd be really interesting to see which servers fell over the most, because like our server was one of the servers that was offline a lot more than any other server. It always felt when you looked at the global server list.
Yeah.
So those things definitely need to be fixed. The town board nerf, the meta with the certain paladin build, all that kind of stuff. Those are things that absolutely need to be fixed for release. You can't have a release where there's just this one build that everyone's going to go with, because then it's just going to be, it'll be shit. That will be shit.
Yeah. Altair, before I say my piece, what were your thoughts, man?
Yeah, fuck this shit. Fucking hell, mate.
Altair was excited, boys. Super excited. I think maybe from your point of view, you'd book time off work and things like that, and it's kind of like Christmas is coming on the 25th, and then Father Christmas says, sorry boys, I'm going on holiday, it's now in end of January. You're gonna be sad, right? You're gonna be sad, but it's still coming. Yeah, I guess my main worry. Okay, so since preview to now, they've brought in so much new content, and the game is so much better for all this new content. But kind of as you said, more content means more bugs. Do you think that they're going to try and introduce anything new, anything else new from now until the 28th of September? Or do you think they're just going to solely focus on servers and bugs, issues, and things like that, stability?
I've not watched your latest YouTube video today or yesterday, where you're looking at the data scrape of what we will look to expect, like a new region, new weapons and stuff. That stuff potentially will get thrown in only if they fixed all the bugs that they think they're going to have triaged the data off the back of this beta, and the sort of critical ones are going to have to absolutely be fixed. The highs are going to have to be fixed. Then they might get to a point where they feel that they can go with release. That I think then you might find it, 3 months later they'll do a new region weapon drop because they've got the stability and they've cleaned up the bugs that they're happy with. But like it might, we talked about this last year off preview. Do you not remember when we were like, what would be an amazing marketing campaign right now is if they tell us that they want to push an alpha till January with a release date in March, but what they actually do is release the game at Christmas. Now, I would just do that this year. I'll just drag it all out, and then just drop it in December when everyone's on holiday, and everyone will play it, like, because they'll be like, oh my god, I need to play it, and I'm off work, it's Christmas, holy shit. Like, it could be a massive marketing coup.
Altair shaking his head down there.
Yeah, but
I agree with you, mate. I agree.
I guarantee you Altair will be playing the game whenever it comes out.
Of course he will.
However much moaning he does now, he'll still be there the day it opens.
No, we all will. We all will.
If they wait till December, mate, I'm refunding. Fuck that.
Yeah, then you'll rebuy it, man. You'll rebuy it.
And then you'll buy it again, exactly.
There's been a lot of chats today, so we've been streaming a bit before New Year Wednesday, and there was a lot of, long story short, everyone's guide, right? Everyone's guide. However, a lot of people are saying potentially this is kind of a cash shop scenario, where there's more negative news, which creates more discussions around the game. And, you can see here Medieval, Asmongold, some big names are already starting to talk about the delay, that it's a good thing, right? It's a good thing because there's so many problems with the game. But a lot of us who played last year, we didn't see all these problems because they weren't necessarily there. So my main Altair point to you is
Yep.
if they don't let us keep playing as players, they've stated here there's been 1 million people played during the beta. These issues that were found in the beta, I assume were there in the alpha, but there weren't enough people there to find the problems. With them completely closing the beta, do you think that there will still be issues on release? And do you think they'll bring another beta before release?
Nah, they won't bring another beta for sure, but there will always be problems in games because there's only been 1 million players. Like, do you know how many players there are in the world that play games? Like, do you know how many players there are that literally play games to find all of these glitches, bugs, like everything, like duping XP or whatever it is? There's so many people who literally play games just to do that stuff, and they might not have even played this game yet.
So
So
do
there
you
could
think
be still bugs.
do you think there is a kind of like what Ped's talking about? Do you think there is a bigger reasoning behind delaying the game? Because I don't know how to develop a game. In my opinion, I feel like, if they're just balancing, surely they can tweak the things to make it right for release. Is there more of an agenda behind the delay rather than just bug fixing, do you think?
Yeah, it depends what they're fixing, like, or what they're doing. It could be that they're maybe implementing new stuff, seeing how that is, because they obviously have their own testers and stuff. So let's say there's a new character model or something like that, and you need to test this. Like, maybe you need to bring the servers down like 5 times a day, maybe 6 times a day, for the testers to literally get every single bug out of it. Maybe it's just the bugs they have now. Maybe it's like the speedrunning bug. Maybe they don't know how to fix that. Maybe they need to, like what I said, like take the game down like multiple times a day just to get the fix right.
Yeah.
So they don't want to do that when we are online, of course, because, well,
Yeah,
we
some
rage.
some comments here. There will still be issues 5 years down the line. Smeagol says, Barber, sure, issues will still be there. Come on. The game was previously scheduled to release in May 2020. I think a few more weeks and nothing from Chaos. Spotty is going to refund if they delay again. Later release is also troubling due to other titles dropping, which will impact the player base. I think the sort of general vibe has been, yes, there needs to be a delay, because since preview to now the game isn't ready. We all know it isn't ready. We all experienced problems in the beta, whether that's server problems, PvP problems, imbalancing, all that sort of shit. There's problems that need to be fixed. I, of course, was hoping that they'll be able to fix them this month. My worry is that if they don't have another beta for 1 million people, let's say, to try and break the game, then they're going to release it on September 28th anyway, and there's still gonna be game, as people have said, sort of game breaking problems. So I'm hoping that they bring another beta out, not just to kind of give me my New World fix that I obviously need. You guys know I love that shit, but to be able to find out genuinely if they've managed to fix what they're trying to fix before release, or alternatively, there is an agenda behind this to just make more money, get more pre-orders, and release the game for Christmas. I think it could be true, man. It could absolutely be true.
I think when we did the whole conspiracy theory thing off the back of preview last year, and I don't think any of it had any mileage, I genuinely think they've gone, shit, we had 1 million people across multiple servers and the infrastructure fell over far too much, right? So if you think from a gaming experience, you can kind of excuse, like, in terms of the content that exists there now, there is a playable game with plenty of stuff to do to keep people interested. We know that. Like, we knew that after preview, right? And they've added a load more stuff 12 months later.
Yeah.
But if it keeps falling over and you're having 2 or 3 hours of downtime a day, that's going to really piss people off. And that's the thing that people will walk away from, because they're like, I'm not going to bother playing this game until it's stable.
Yeah.
Right. So if they can bring the stability, then they'll release it on the 28th of September, as it is probably. They'll have made some minor bug fixes. Well, they'll have fixed as many bugs as they can. But from a stability perspective, if they can roll it out at the end of September and they'll go, we'll have, you know, like a minor downtime every day for server maintenance, but it will be short, you know, 15, 20 minutes or half an hour max. But the server isn't going to fall over when there's big open world PvP or when people are in wars, then we'll be good to go.
Yeah.
But, you know, I think maybe they underestimated how many people would get involved, but also the volume of activity in specific servers with like open world PvP and things like that. So that's stuff they can rectify, right? That's like go and get more hardware, go and get more compute, go and put more RAM into your virtual environment, etc., etc. Those things are tangible. But if it's actually linked to the development of the game and the integration of, you know, XP and combat systems and stuff, that's more complex. And like you said, yeah, if they have to make loads of big changes, then they're going to need to do another beta to make sure they haven't crapped out on that from an infrastructure perspective when they release it. So, you know, that's why I'm not going to hold my breath for September, but at the same time, I'm pretty sanguine about it because we've been waiting 2 years anyway. So, you know.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I think I was very sad when the news came through on the stream earlier. I was very sad, very gutted. So I'll upload my reaction because you'll have a good laugh about that. So we'll pick up some comments and chat from you guys. Sorry, smashing up the house. Sorry about that. Lauren says, already refunded. This is not a finished product and should not be sold for money. If this was free to play, I might actually have a go. But as it stands, this won't fly. Blake, September 28th is realistic. The game was releasable with a few patches after beta. Who is this two guy? This is Peddler and Altair, two legends from our company, Pirate Gaming. Will they need another beta to test in the changes or not? I think they will. I think they should do. Spotty says stability is key. Absolutely. Oh my gosh, some great comments here, boys.
The thing is, like, I get people's frustration. They want a refund, right? Look how many people bought Cyberpunk, and that thing bloody exploded.
Yeah.
The moment it released. I mean, that wasn't like New World have a vastly superior product to Cyberpunk, and Cyberpunk still sold shitloads. Yes, then they had to do a massive capitulation, and loads of people took their money back. But I genuinely don't think that really matters to Amazon. You know, like pre-order, not pre-order. Like refunding the game, great. You'll end up buying the game when it releases. Like, so it doesn't matter from a revenue perspective. They can either have made revenue because you've bought the game pre-release, or they're forecasting revenue based on the potential sales. So yeah, have the hissy fit, be annoyed, refund the game, great. Get over it. When the game finally releases, guess what? To play it, you're gonna have to buy it. So, you know, it's like, you know, Amazon's a multi-trillion-dollar company. They know how to make money. They understand business models. Gaming community is not going to break Amazon. Apart from their servers playing New World.
Yeah, we're breaking their servers, boys. Let's go. No, I mean, we'll swap back. I kind of, you know, I see things from both sides. You know, from a gamer's perspective, you know, there's a few questions. You know, can we now trust these guys? They've told us 2 or 3 dates now. They keep putting the game back. You know, if they just worked on the balance fixes and all that stuff from preview, and then started to introduce more content later on, the game wouldn't be ready yet, but it would be playable. But from a business point of view, I think they're trying to compete with a lot of people saying there's not enough content. Regardless of all the bugs, there's a lot of issues around. There's not enough content. The content's not hard enough. You know, people hitting level 60 in 3-4 days because they've overlooked town quest boards and things like that. So they're getting like attacked from all sides. But I think the one thing we can all absolutely agree on is the base of the game is absolutely phenomenal, and we all wouldn't be here. I don't know how many are here on the stream or how many people are watching New World in general knowing that the game's closed now and we can't play it, the game has some traction and the game has like a good future. So I think it's going to be an awesome game. I don't mind waiting. I'm fucking gutted. Of course I am. We had so much plans with the company. We got a company chat tonight, a company meeting again to debrief from the beta. But I feel like in general, you know, the game's going to be around for a few years, and if they want to make the launch perfect as they can, then fine, but please don't make us wait too long. That's what I'm going to say. I'm ready to play, man. People are telling me there's axe exploits, duping of gold. The only thing that really got to me was the 50 versus 50 wars, you know, from a personal opinion, you know, seeing 60 people just still, you can't play the game, you know, you can't. So yeah, the servers and things like that. So there's lots of things that need to fix. Yeah, Ped, Altair, maybe if we can see if there's any questions. Boys, do an @Danneh. We'll try and pick up some of your questions now, see what your thoughts are, see if you have any questions, or just throw us your opinions. We'll try and pick up on some.
Someone is asking for a beard hair.
A beard hair?
Lufia? Yeah, someone wants a beard hair of your...
It's in the post, man. It's got lost. I'm sorry, Lafia.
I would say one thing. Like, you remember where we were at preview, right? To where we are now. Like, positive or negative marketing is still ultimately long-term positive, right? It has a good effect. Do you remember, like, off the back of preview last year, the hype then compared to now, like, it's gone stratospheric now. And if you delay it by another 8 weeks, the hype will probably go through the roof even more. And yeah, they may or may not drop it at the end of September. There's a good chance they will drop it at September, and then they'll do incremental fixes, patches, etc. But, you know, the hype has, like, gone through the roof, right? And we've seen that, you know, we've seen that intimately, because we talked about doing New World Wednesday back in October last year.
Yeah.
And look at how New World Wednesday just started to grow in hype, you know, just so we know the hype is there. So I think, people will play the game when it drops. Just even if they turn around and go, guess what, we're going to take PvP out, but you can go and chop cheese down and mine shit. They'll have a lot of people just go and do it for that, just for the sound and the immersion.
Yeah,
Even you will, Altair. You'll be like, get my pickaxe out.
Oh, mate.
Yeah, you will.
Give
Yeah,
me
you will.
fucking weapons.
Ritz Keto, sorry man, I always fuck up your name. Terra Online Endgame was 2 days. After that was a very good game until Gameforge didn't crash it, didn't play Terra Online. So never mind Endgame content if the base is a good game and the player base is good as well. Gray, I'm going to play it regardless if the date is released at some point. At this point, it doesn't matter. The date doesn't matter. Gray's still going to play. Annie says they should definitely open up the game now so they can get more information since they pushed it back. I think these comments are really... I hope people listen to this, because all of this information, their reasoning for delaying, unless they're lying to us, around the bugs and the stability and stuff, wasn't able to be seen in the alpha because there wasn't as many players. So yeah, I think it would be a good thing for them to reopen up the beta or some sort of scenario, even if it's kind of testing again. You know, we know that there was a testing phase that happened with 2,000 odd people before the game launched. You know, whatever, and that didn't really do the job. So more testing, I think, would be key. Only Cow says, I got mine refunded because I couldn't get in the alpha when the beta came, so I came crawling back. But when the beta came, he came crawling back. Yeah.
Like, it's funny. It is really funny, you know, because, you know, crikey, first New World Wednesday was mostly PG and there were about 50, 60 people, right? You've now got, because your stream's gone crazy off the back of streaming during beta, right? And there's more people here now. And it's funny reading a lot of the comments, because they're the same things we were saying in September last year off the back of preview. Like, oh, they can't delay the game. If they delay the game, it'll ruin it. It'll kill it. like no one will play it, and there's loads of people in here saying exactly what we were saying 12 months ago. It's just, the cycle continues. Guess what? I reckon we'll probably all be playing the game when it releases in 2025. I'll put that out there now. When it releases in 2025.
Chaos says PvE. I think they should just do away with this side of it. We all know it's a part of the game. We all know it's a side part of the game. It's a PvP game. The PvE experience, questing and killing, not the crafting, was so mundane. What's your thoughts on it? Personally,
who's this person? Who is
Chaos UK? It's kind of halfway up. So personally, and I think probably the boys will agree here, we love the PvP part of the game. Ped's sort of experience in the beta was pretty much 90% focused on the crafting and researching for the clan. We all love the PvE part of it, and we know that the PvE leads to good PvP, in my opinion. But I do agree that a lot of the game's mechanics are focused on PvP, so you craft your gear to get better items to PvP, but you also craft your gear to get better items to PvE, the end dungeons and the end bosses. So there is a great balance at the moment between PvE and PvP, and I think they should just, as with the weapons, improve that balance and improve the need for more reasoning behind owning territories and stuff like that. So we won't get too much into that because that is a PvE versus PvP question, but it's always nice to
I would definitely throw in there, we certainly, those of us that played in preview as PG, we definitely played beta very differently, right? I mean,
yes.
You just bummed around on Twitch all day talking to people and forgot that you were trying to level a character, right? Whereas when we played preview, we all kind of went, we didn't, not some, I mean, Paul obviously did what Paul does and exploits the game and levels really quickly because he'll find the meta that gets him to level 45 before AGS catch up and then have to nerf it. Isn't that right, Paul? And then, but like we did a lot of PvE in preview. Do you remember the big 40-person groups? We'd go up into Morningdale and stuff, and we would go and fight the level 45s, and then we went up to the level 60 area, and it was epic fun. We didn't do any of that this time, like in big groups, right? We didn't do anything really that we did in preview. So we approached beta completely differently because we did preview. So for release, that's really exciting because I think there's so much more now, and those big pirate gaming events, like we did the fishing event, but imagine that's a pirate gaming event going up to the north, going and fighting those big level bosses, having a shitload of PvE fun. There's so much to do now, right? And we just didn't do any of that this time.
Yeah, no, it's very true. Pure Tactics, great name for his comment here. I feel I feel like that's why they planned the beta 30 days before release, because they knew it would find bugs, and that would give them a reason to push it back. He just thinks it seems odd, which leads into our marketing chats from earlier. Jesse Cat says the beta and everyone involved helped make the right decision to delay the game and make improvements. Good job, devs and testers.
What's everyone's obsession with me growing a beard? Like, I had the beard. I had to get rid of the beard. I had the beard. I had to shave the beard off. Look, there's the beard, remember?
Got a picture. Yeah!
There's the beard. Okay? I'll just wear that next time.
Brilliant. Where was I? Annie says, to be honest, man, if they open it up back in August. Oh shit, chat's blasted, boys. Open it for release in August. They can just do scheduled maintenance periodically. That won't piss us off like any other game. Amazing comments, boys. I think there's a real understanding for the game to be pushed back, absolutely. And I think there's just a general sense of not sadness, but we're just gutted. Everyone's looking forward to getting in game and playing together, and kind of starting the journey in Eternum, basically. So we all know, bringing out more content means more bugs and more problems. We will understand that these need to be fixed, basically. So, yeah.
I found another question here from TheArt79. What is your thoughts on there is only gems to transform your damage scaling from int or focus, and not from like con or even strength or dex.
So I think having spent a very large amount of time at a stone cutting table for 5 days, I think that's something that they could introduce, at a later date quite easily. But it put the onus on obviously getting gems, collecting the gems. But in order to cut the gems, you needed to make sure you were collecting motes, right? So you had to run your arcana tree as well as your stone cutting tree to produce the gem. And then obviously you can stick those gems into your gear. But if you want to go and make jewelry, you've got to go and do the outfitting station. So crafting was a lot more intricate this time. And, without giving too much away for our plans, but like the amount of resource required to do things quickly and efficiently is huge. And if you were to do it solo, it would take an exceptionally long time. Yeah. And that's as far as I'm going to go in that.
I guess like one part of the game is that it's lovely that there is the ability to play solo. Maybe with the introduction of some more company quality of life things, whether that's a company bank or whatever it may be, will allow that solo game to still happen, but also that a bit more of a collaboration side of things. I don't know. I mean, there's so much to talk about. But I do need to go and get ready. We have a company meeting tonight. It's a bit late, but we can potentially bring it forward half an hour or so, or just start the chats within our company.
We also need another 8 weeks of content for New World Wednesday, right? So
yeah, we do. Stop some patch notes, please. What I would love is that they bring like a roadmap out and be a bit transparent with where they're going and what they're doing. That'd be really cool. I'm really disappointed at their first live stream. Obviously the game launched earlier. It was just apparently a video. There was no interaction with Twitch chat. I think there's a few things that New World team needs to do, I think, and one of them is live stream and have like a dev chat and engage with the community of some really like this, have this with the team would be really lovely. And then also a bit of a roadmap or something like that. That would be really lovely to see. But yeah, Altair, Ped, thank you boys for joining. Is there anything else that we may have missed as like a final?
We'll just have to do some Battlefield 20 whatever it is nights, because that'll be out probably before New World.
Yes.
Yeah, we can do that.
Guys, I'm so sorry if we missed any of the questions. You guys have been absolutely insane tonight. Watching chat blow up has been amazing. There's my YouTube. Check that out. But more importantly, boys, feel free to come and join the Pirate Gamer Discord. We are all there, always chatting. We have a big open chat for New World, which is constantly happening. So please do come and get involved. What we're going to be doing between New World and, well, New World when it comes out is Battlefield 5 is currently free on Twitch Prime. So if any of you Amazon Prime, so if any of you guys that have Amazon Prime, go and get Battlefield 5 for free. I'll be playing that with some of the guys. If you don't like it, come and play anyway. Just get stuck in together. It's good fun. We do still have an NA company that's recruiting, and the EU side for New World is currently closed for recruitment. But we're going to open it up again soon once we've got our system in place, because we had over 500 people apply to join us during the beta, and it was such an honor to have so many people want to join us. But we're gonna sort all that out. So for tonight's raid, we're gonna steer off a bit of New World. So guys, if you're here solely for New World, forgive me. We're gonna raid one of our legends within the community, Reckless. He's currently playing Battlefield 5. So let's drop in, give him some shit. He will be streaming New World when New World comes out. Oh, we got a result coming in. Tell me what it is, cutie. Tell me what it is. But again, guys, please join us for the raid. Reckless is an awesome guy.
It's always my beard. It's always my beard.
Give him some spam, some abuse.
603, mate.
Deal with it.
And show him some love. We need to go sort our beards out.
Imagine how long my beard would be, though, if I'd grown it for another year. It'd be longer than both of yours.
I'm keeping mine nice and trim. You know?
Well, okay, so next year, competition again?
I can't grow it for
Well, you
reasons
can, come on.
I can't tell you.
I know with reasons.
His wife hates it.
Oh, yeah, that's one reason.
Okay, boys, the raid is going to happen with Reckless. Guys, thank you so much for your follows. Thank you so much for the YouTube follows there. Subs. Yeah, I appreciate you all. Pirate Gamer boys, we'll see you in a meeting. Altair, Ped, thanks again, boys. Please show some love to Reckless when we get over there. Let's head over, boys. GG, big love.
GG.
Let's show him some love. Let's get this in. Oh, mate, I'm missing
Where's his sound? He hasn't. Where's his sound?
He's like, oh, shit.
Really?
Talking about beers.
Yeah.
I think he's changed his notifications. He's got the follows there, but not a raid notification.
I thought I was following Reckless. I better follow him. Shit.